All right, so today we're going to talk about conversions. Okay, we're going to start with we use metric conversions, still the same thing as the SI conversion, common ones, which I posted the list of metric conversions on Google Classroom. Okay, giga, mega, we've heard of gigabyte, megabyte, kilogram, centimeter, milliliter. Micro is not used very often in common terms. Nano is another one. And pico, nano and pico are very, very small. So we're going to talk today about converting things. So conversions, we simply multiply by a conversion factor. Okay, we multiply by a conversion factor. It's a ratio that shows how two units are related to each other. Example, conversion factor, 1 foot equals 12 inches. So you write 1 foot over 12 inches or 12 inches over 1 foot, depending on which way you want to go. It's the same thing. We won't do a lot of non-SI conversions, non-metric conversions, but we will do some. So useful steps for conversion, I will tell you this. I will tell you that we will not probably do it the easiest way. Okay, we'll not do it the easiest way. There's a way just to move the decimal point. I want to see work. I'll do this for later on for people in chemistry, and then people when they take chemistry will convert everything the same way when we do stoichiometry and things like that. So you're doing it my way. All right, first step is start with what you know. Take what you know and put it over 1. Second step, find a conversion factor that allows you to convert from what the given to what you are looking for. You might have to use more than one conversion factor. The third step is arrange the conversion factor so the new unit is on top and the old unit is on the bottom. When performing metric conversions, a 1 always goes in front of the prefixed unit. I cannot stress that enough. Put a 1 in front of the prefixed unit. And then you're going to multiply or divide to find the answer. Those are our 4 simple steps. So let's do some examples. You probably need your computer out too. That way you look up the metric prefixes. I didn't think about telling you that first time. It's just me and Bryant here today. Everyone say hi, Bryant. Or Bryant, say hi to everyone. Hey. That's what horses eat and cows. He said, hey, that's what horses eat. I know. I think so too. All right, so our first example, let me find my mouse before I get my first example. I'm going to convert 25 centimeters to meters. 25 centimeters to meters. So what was our first step, Mr. Gunn? Converting. What's our first step? Take what you know and put it over 1. So what do I know in this problem? Si, senor. I have 20, so I'll put 25 centimeters over 1. I'm going to multiply, okay? What unit's going to go on the bottom of my next fraction? What's the unit on the top of this first fraction? So centimeters are going to go on the bottom. And I always got to go to my base unit, so I'm going to go to meters here, okay? What always goes in front of the prefix unit? Give you a hint. It's a number greater than 0 and less than 2. 1 always goes in front of the prefix unit. And then you go look up your list of metric prefixes. And what is the value of centi? Yeah, list of metric prefixes. Google Classroom. Yes, sir. It's on Google Classroom. Centi, yes, sir. .01. So now centimeters cancel. Centimeters cancel. I want to be in meters. That's my unit left. So now I would just multiply. The big thing here is how many significant figures is in 25? 2. So however many you start with in conversions, how many you want to end with, because there's an infinite number of significant figures in that conversion factor. So you would multiply these out, and it would be 0.25 meters. Next example. Just convert 34 liters to deciliters. So our first step is to do what? But what you know, 34 liters, yes sir, over 1. We're going to always multiply. Liters is on the top, so liters is going to go on the bottom. Deciliters is going to go there. Where does our 1 go? Does our 1 go in front of deciliters or liters? Nope. It goes in front of deciliters. Always goes in front of the prefix, okay? Deci is the prefix. And then what goes in front of the base unit, in this case liters, is what's the value of deci. Yes, sir. Equals 0.1. So now liters cancel out. Liters cancel out. And you're going to multiply or divide on this one. I mean, because it really simplifies out into 34 times 1 over 1 times 0.1. You don't really need the 1, so it simplifies out into 34 divided by 0.1. And what is that answer? So you're going to divide, and it would be 340 deciliters. There's my answer. So we took what we know, we put over 1, multiplied by a conversion factor. Units on the top in step 1 went on the bottom of step 2. And then 1 went from the prefixed unit. So we call those one-steppers, okay? Those are one-steppers because they're going from a prefix to a base unit to a prefix. So those are one-step conversion factors. If you start with the prefix, you multiply. If you start with the base unit, you divide. So now let's do a two-stepper. Convert, it says, I don't like that right-click is not paste on one pane. All right, so take what I know, put it over 1, so I know I have 23 centimeters over 1 times, what's going to go on the bottom of this fraction? What? No, what's on the top of this one? So it's going to go on the bottom of the next one. And what's going to go on the top? These are two-steppers. I can't go directly from centi to milli, okay? So I go to my base unit first, okay? I go to my base unit first. So 1 goes in front of centimeters because it's the base unit. I mean, it's the prefix unit. The value of centi is 0.01. Centimeters cancel. I am not finished right now. I'm in meters, and I want to go to millimeters. So meters is going to go on the bottom. Millimeters is going to go on the top. 1 goes in front of the prefix, and the value of milli is 0.001. So that's why if you go from a prefix to a prefix, it's 2 steps. When you go to a prefix, there's always a 1 underneath the first fraction, underneath the second fraction, and on top of the third fraction. So this answer would be equal to 23 times 0.01 divided by 0.001. And that answer would be 230. That is still the correct number of significant figures because I started with 2. 230 does not have a decimal point, so that would be correct. Millimeters. All right, let's do another one. convert 19.99 centiamps to microamps. So, what's my first step? 19.99 centiamps. And I'll put it over 1 times. What's going on the bottom of this next fraction? Centiamps. What's going on the top of it? What unit's going on the top of it? The UA. Always use you got to go to the base unit first, okay? So you got to go to A first, okay? And then I'm going to do another one. A is going to go on the bottom. That's a micro. Okay. So I'm going to put a 1 in front of the prefix. So 1 goes in front of centi, 1 goes in front of micro. I know that centi is 0.01 and micro is 0.50. My writing is getting worse. Who's that? Centiamps cancel, centiamps cancel. Amps cancel, amps cancel. So I'm equal to 19.99 times 0.01 divided by 0.000001. And that equals that. So that is converting. Remember, if it's a prefix to a prefix, you have to make 2 fractions in there. Always go through your base unit first. Go ahead and try your homework. And if you have any questions, please let me know.